How's it going, everyone? Where did I put my... This is my phone holder, by the way. This is what you guys sit on while making all these high quality videos. So this is what we're working on, guys. We're gonna make a batch of 11 of these. Got a cut list written out here. So that's what we're going to be working with. So we're going to times all those by 10. That'll give us our total number of strips that we need to cut. Let's see. Why is it so dark in here? I don't know. It's extra dark in here tonight, or today, rather. Anyway, let's get started. So, if I am trying to cut myself, let's start with our whitest pieces, 4 1/8. Those are going to go ahead and see, we need 3, so we're going to need 33 at 12 by 4 1/8, and then 11 22 at 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. And then, hey, thanks for joining. This is what we're working on today. Some Mother's Day planners. I made this prototype last night, and we went and grabbed some flowers this morning, and the wife put this beautiful little poem on it with a cricut. So we're getting ready to make a batch of 11 of them. I just posted them on Marketplace. We'll see how they do. But anyway, I've got my cut list up here for a single planner. I'm just doing the math to see how many of each part I need. So this one is going to be another 22 at 6 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then we got another 22. And those ones are going to be 5 7/8 by 1 3/4. 22 again. And that's going to be 12 by 1 3/4. And we got that one more time. I'm also going to go into a video on this, on how we decided on pricing for these. We broke down the lumber cost, we broke down the glue, the nails. I've got 38 cents worth of nails in that. So we're going to really try to help you guys get to a point where you can turn a profit with your hobby. How's it going, Rummy? Michelle? How's everyone doing? So I apologize if you can't read my chicken scratch, but basically we're going to start by doing all these 4 1/8 inch boards. I'm going to end up needing a total of, let's see, 56 of them. Sorry, I'm not the best on math. Well, thanks for tuning in, Michelle. So we're going to start with that. Let's go ahead. We're going to come over to the table saw. I'm going to set you guys on the stand. Grab my safety goggles. All right, here we go. Can you guys hear me all right? How's it going, Ronald? What's up, man? Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm being very ADD today, but we're also going to be finishing up this project. These are going to be little trophy bats. The wife is going to put kids' name and their little league team logo on. So we'll be finishing that up. But right now she's printing more of these. So we're going to get those parts made for her so she can get those on there now. All right. So like I said, we're shooting for a 4 1/8. To get a straighter board, what I'm actually going to do, and these actually, see if I can get you guys a view down it. For a fence picket, it's pretty damn straight. I spend way too much time picking out fence pickets. People at Home Depot look at me like, what is wrong with you? As always, I preach safety. Want to make sure you don't have more than like 2 or 3 teeth exposed. So even that's probably a little bit high. And that just minimizes the amount of chance of something hitting your finger, because we don't want that. Now, another thing, we're going to pull all of our staples out so we don't ding our blade. And to start with, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rip along the very outside edge just to put a straight edge on that. Wait 1 moment, gang. Don't know what I did with them. Here's the lighter. So we'll go ahead and we'll rip that real quick, and then we'll start cutting them up. Oh, got to re-plug in the table saw. I do not have enough outlets in this shop. There we go. let's see, we're needing 33 12-inch long parts. So we need 33 feet. Pickets are 6. So we need roughly 4 for our sides and bottoms. And then we're going to need another 22, only 5 1/4. So we'll start with 5 and see where that gets us. All right. I'm pretty sure while I was cutting that, I just got a message on Marketplace for the planner we're building that I just posted a few moments ago. Actually, it's for one of my trellises, but nonetheless, always encouraging to receive orders while you're working. So now that we got that nice straight edge, it's not perfect. Ideally, I should be running them across the joiner. For the sake of making a profit, trying to find a way to do it a little bit quicker. But the straighter the edge you get, the easier it'll be on you. So now let's set this fence up to 4 1/8. We'll rip those down, and then we'll head over to the chop saw. So Michelle, all right. There's one piece. We got 2. Last one to go. All right. And that works out beautifully. These drop strips, about 1.125 inches, so we can make some more trellises with those. Let's kind of toss those out of the way for now. And let's head over to the chop saw. Let's see here. Get you guys set up on the It'd be really cool if those drawers would stay shut. Yeah. There we go. Quick and easy solve.
Like my cooking is all, you probably don't. I have no other chisels, but need this.
That's fine. Those are old junk. On the money. All right. For the stop block. Where is my quick grip? What's going on? For those of you just joining, show you what we're working on. We're working on these little bench planters for Mother's Day. Wife did a beautiful job putting on a little poem on the front there. Gives them that extra little touch. Honestly, probably the real selling point. We went and grabbed some flowers and staged it up. So far, we're making a batch of 11. I've ripped strips to 4 1/8 for the sides, the bottom. And now I just have a whole bunch of those to cut up. So let's get back at it. So out of each picket, you're going to yield 5 of those. But hang on to these because we'll be able to use them for the end pieces. How's it going, guys? All right, so I miscalculated because I did not take into account for the kerf. Like I said, those pieces are still going to be useful. We use them for the end pieces, but I'm going to go ahead and sand down 11 of these so Mrs. Hybiak can start putting the graphics on them. We'll be right back. Can you run downstairs and grab my sander? Yeah, there should be sandpaper there too. Sitting on like one of the totes. It's this one the sandpaper keeps flying off of. Thank you. All right, we're gonna pick. One thing you can always do to improve your project is pick out where a piece is going to fit best. So like on the front face, I want it to be as clear as possible. The knot on the back is rustic. If it's on the bottom, who cares? But we're going to try to pick out 11 of these that are knot free. I normally don't worry about the knots, but on something like this, we're at least super tight like that. It's really hard to do with cedar though. There, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't like that one. 8. 9, 10, and 11. There we go. We got our 11. Set the rest of these to the side. We'll still end up using them and more, but that's okay. I'm gonna run down to my basement real quick and grab sander. I cannot remember for the life of me why it's down there, but that's where we're heading for a moment. I'm coming. I'm almost there. You found the sandpaper, but not the sander.
Sander.
Let's see. I saw it just the other day. It was down here, unless I already drug it upstairs. It's very possible. Basement is the catch-all. Shit. Where did it go? Shouldn't be on the other side, but maybe. Damn. All right, well, I'm going to have to make do with the Hyper Tough for now, I guess. How's it going, Michelle? Trying to figure out what I did with my sander. Soldier, what's going on? Sorry for the motion right now. I'm trying to find where I put my sander. Luckily, I do have two, but I was hoping to. Ah, it is out here. Sweet. Hoping to use my Bosch instead of my. So, I think you were on the live last night, were you? Check this out. Wife went ahead and did the ends on it. How's it going, Mike? And that's actually sitting on top of that Grizzly air filter I found the other day for $50 on Craigslist. Luckily, I've set myself up with two different trim routers. And one I just leave an 1/8 inch round over bit. That way I don't ever have to reset that damn thing up. I hate setting up router bits. I don't know why, but sorry, I locked the wife out of the garage. Yeah, it was in the drawer where it belongs. That's probably why I couldn't find it. Box fan and a HEPA filter, that's not a bad idea. Figured for $50 though, I couldn't go wrong. Anyway, I don't know if you guys want to watch me sand, but that's the next step. So that's what I'm going to be working on. If you want to stick around, awesome. If not, check back in a little bit. But thank you guys for tuning in. Let's see. Is more outlets not part of your guys' dream shop? Yeah, switch to a heavier grit. That is parts for those boxes. Gosh darn it. I just had the other sandpaper earlier today. The heavier grit. Now it's MIA. Fuck, dude. Ah, no. There we go. Got a little more bite on there. That's why that other one doesn't want to stick. Yeah, I would love to add like 20 outlets and put in some three-phase. What are you keeping in the ammonia can? There we go. Now we got a nice smooth surface. She'll be able to lay that on. There's one for you, baby.
I need one of the legs so I can see how thick it is. So I know how to center it. It doesn't have to be the actual leg.
No, I know. I'm just trying to find a hunk of scrap that measures the width of that. Here, I'll do this for you. Telling you, for duplicating things, you cannot beat these little guys. So the leg will come over to the edge of that. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to sand a picket smooth, but it is not an easy task. The more and more I build with pickets, the more and more I'm tempted to start running them through the planer and across the joiner. I have some sort of resistance to it because I feel like those two steps in woodworking are like a fine carpentry sort of thing, and these are all supposed to be like a rustic sort of build. But little things like that would, if I'm going to mass produce these, be a lot easier to have a smooth finish. I just worry it's going to tear up. There's one of them that she did. Now that there's nobody watching.
I prefer it that way. I don't like it when people are watching because then I feel like they can hear
I imagine as long as I'm sanding all day, so I don't have to sand the bottom parts, but I'm going to have to sand everything else now. That's super fucking pretty. Wonder if you can get in trouble for smoking on YouTube.
Probably. Can't take the puff on the camera.
I need to get a dust mask.
Yeah.
Oh, that one looks really good.
Of course it does. I made it.
Here you guys go. So, got a handful of different designs that she's done so far. And the one that I showed you guys on the planner. Got a couple more sanded down for her that she's working on. And I got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to sand. Yeah, I'm definitely, this is something I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to try to plane one and see how bad it tears out.
You're only doing the faces. You're not doing all of them.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, in general, if I'm going to be doing a shit ton of cedar sanding, which even just the faces is going to be a ton. Again, still sanding away. Oh, I see it now. First I was like, what the fuck did she do there? For any of you who might end up watching this later, that one I really like. That's a really cool design she did. Hi, Peter. Got the neighborhood rabbits running by. Boy, am I glad it is warm enough to have the garage door open and not be running the heater. That's going to be one of my biggest challenges going forward is I have to prepare for winter, find a way to winterize this garage or get a heater that can handle keeping it warm because it gets cold out here. I gotta get some dust masks so I can breathe later. Again, for anyone who might be watching later. Pretty sick.
Did one of each, except for this one because it's.
So, well, let me finish sanding this one, and then we'll get me dust mask and you transfer paper. Hey, so gonna take a quick break here, but oh man, people like hop on and leave right away. Kind of sad. I just want some friends.
I was trying to weed this way. Just use a little bit of the older paper.
Anyway, gang, we're going to take a break and go get her some more transfer paper so she can keep going on the logos. And I'm going to pick up some dust masks so I can breathe later tonight. It's all the little things that add up. You don't really think about. Today, I spent $20 because, well, didn't have a belt for my belt sander so I can finish off the home plate. So all those little things. And with that being said, that's why getting the shop clean and getting it organized is of the utmost importance. But in the meantime, still want to keep making some good content for you guys. Thanks for tuning in.